I'm making chicken broth. I'm making chicken broth. I'm making chicken broth. What you doing? Hey, it's Rochelle, Legacy Home and Garden. Welcome to my kitchen. I have roasted 4 chickens in my roaster outside in my outdoor kitchen. And I thought I'd bring you along just real quick today. What I'm doing now is I am peeling the meat off of these bones. I'm getting every scrap and morsel of this cooked chicken that I've roasted off. Then I am taking the bones and all the other junk, and I'm throwing it into a separate bowl here. And here is one. I'm working on my first chicken, and I'm peeling the meat off because what I'm going to do is I can then put this in portion sizes and vacuum seal it, throw it into my freezer. And then during the week, it's so easy to grab some cooked chicken out in the morning, pop it in the fridge. When I get home at night, I can whip up chicken fajitas. I can whip up chicken and rice. I can throw together really quick some chicken and rice, chicken noodle soup. I can do chicken pot pie. There's so many things you can do. And it makes your prep work after work, for me anyway, so much easier. I've even done this and then grabbed a bunch of it out and whipped up a bunch of chicken salad. It makes it easy if you need to whip together a dish for somebody maybe who's sick or not feeling good. But I roast my chickens real slow in my roaster. And I usually just roast them super slow during the week because I'm so busy. We work. So I got to talking and was throwing my chicken in the wrong bowl here. That I can't just like sit with it all day long. So I'll put my chickens in, usually 2 at a time, and I'll roast them on low, about 200 for a couple days and just let them cook really slow. I'm not in a hurry. When they're done, I'll pop them out and pop a couple more in because I like to have several carcasses, because what I'm going to be doing with all these bones and scraps that I've got here is I'm going to be making chicken broth. Yeah, I'm going to be doing some broth with these bones. So what we did is we roasted these chickens. I'll show you what they look like, because I started doing this one before I thought, oh, I should bring you along. This is chicken here, okay? And I've actually got 4 of them to do. And I got my dog here, so I got to be careful. If anything I drop, he's going to just gobble up real quick. But I've got these chickens, and I got off work early today. I only worked 4 hours. So I was able to get home, and there's 4 chickens. And what I did is after I roasted them, I let them cool on the counter, wrapped them in foil, set them in my fridge so that I could have the appropriate time to peel all the bones. So this is probably going to take me about an hour or so to peel all these chickens. I'm just watching a movie here on my Echo show while I'm doing it. But once I get these all peeled, I'll bring you back. I'll show you the amount of meat we got from. Okay, guys, welcome back. I have finished deboning the 4 chickens. This bowl here is the largest bowl you can get from Tupperware. They're big bowls, and as you can see, this is full of deboned chicken. What I'll do with this now is portion size it out, vacuum seal it, and get that in the freezer. What I have here is the bowl of the scraps, the bones, little bits and pieces and stuff like that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take half of this and put it in my roaster out in the outdoor kitchen, and Ron's going to follow me with the camera so I can show you this. And the other thing I'm going to do is get in the freezer here, and I have 2 bags of vegetable scraps that I've been keeping. When I peel an onion, when I peel celery, chopped celery, carrots, all those good things. And I've just been throwing them in my bag. So these are going to go in my stock outside. So, and then we're going to fill it up with water. Okay, so we're going to the outdoor kitchen, and what I'm going to do is show you how I put this to use and make broth.
I do the best.
Okay, thank you, darling. Okay, in here is where I roasted the chickens. Okay, and there's a lot of drippings and a lot of stuff going on in here. Since this is 4 chickens, I want to put in kind of what I feel like will equate to 2 carcasses because I want to make a couple of batches. And a little bit more. Now what I'm going to do is take this bag of stuff that I was telling you about that I had in my freezer, and you'll see it's like onion skins and celery, carrots, all that. And I'm just going to dump that in there. So you want to come and show them kind of what it looks like, Ron? Kind of like a mess. But I got my chicken bones, all my scraps in here. Now what I'm going to do is fill that up with water, okay? So it's going to take a couple of these to get this filled up with water. Now, I'm not going to season mine. No salt, no pepper, no nothing. I'm just going to let it slow cook in here on about 250 for probably 48 hours. Okay? Once I get this water going, watch out, Cash.
Cash, come on.
And I'm going to fill this all the way up. Okay? Then, after this is done in 48 hours, I'll bring you back and I'll show you what I do next. But actually, I've reserved in the refrigerator some drippings from the original chickens because I'm going to use that to make another batch of broth. So I'm trying to equally divide it in half. If I had 2 roasters, I could do them both at the same time, but I don't. And I'm happy to have the one that I do have. However, if these go on sale again, I will buy another one. Watch out, buddy. So I think I got this one for 23 or 24 bucks a year ago, Thanksgiving. So I'm almost finished putting enough water in here. Watch out, buddy.
Cash.
He's trying to get any drippings he can.
That should be enough.
That looks good. My little kitchen knife here. All right, guys. So I got celery, onions, carrots, chicken, all kinds of chicken parts and pieces in there. And I'm going to put that on about 250 right there. Now tonight when I go to bed, I'll turn it down probably about 200. This is just going to sit in here for the next 48 hours. And it's just going to draw all of that yummy goodness off the bones and out of the scrap vegetables. And the reason I used my onion covering the peeling part, the paper part feeling, is because it gives my broth a nice dark color. So, okay, that's it for today. I'll be back in 2 days and we'll get the next batch going, and then I'll be showing you how to actually can that broth. Thank you, Ron. Okay, I got all that chicken vacuum sealed and ready for the freezer, and I've got 8 1-pound packages of cooked chicken that are labeled and ready to go in the freezer. I forgot to bring you along. I am so sorry. But my first 2 chickens are done with the broth. And what I did is I took and I used this here, okay? And I just went in here in the broth, scooped up the bones and the veggies, dumped them in the bowl. Scooped up the veggies, dumped them in the bowl. When all I had left was broth, I had to strain it out. So then I took this tool, this Big Mama Jama, and I dipped it in here. And then when I had this full of broth, I strained it through a towel into the bowl. Once I got all that done on my first straining, then I took the same tool, dipped it into this bowl, just broth, poured it in here, strained it through there, into there, and then once this was full, I poured it into here. So that was the process I just did and forgot to bring you along with. But out of this one cooker with 2 chickens and the vegetables, I made 2.5 gallons of the broth. Now, you can see on the bottom, maybe, there's still a little bit of sediment sitting down here. Not so much on this one or this one, but I'm gonna put these in the refrigerator tonight. Tomorrow, there should be grease or the fat that's sitting on the top. Now you can keep that in your broth if you want. I don't want it in mine, so I'll take the fat or the, what do you call it? Yeah, the fat off. Then I will strain this for a 3rd time to get just pure broth, and then I'll can it. But that's where I'm at in the process right now. Look at that beautiful color. This one here, for some reason, it's got a lot of sediment in the bottom, and these may too after they sit. But that's why you do a really thorough straining, so you get nice, clear, clean broth. Okay, that's it for now. Okay, I'm getting ready for the next batch. So what I've got here are the other 2.5 chicken bones and debris. Okay, debris meaning just like all the parts and pieces, stuff you don't eat off of the chicken. And another bag of the frozen vegetables I had in the freezer. And now I'm just adding that water, just like I did last time. Okay? You hear those guineas in the background? They're going crazy. So I'm just going to fill this all the way up like I did last time and let this go ahead and cook on, simmer on 250 for a couple of days. And then I will bring you on this next one when I strain it. I won't forget you. Okay, I got the second batch ready to go. And so I'm figuring out of all this that I'm making, I should get maybe 18, maybe 20 quarts of broth. And that's out of just vegetable scraps and chicken carcasses. So it takes a little time, but who cares? You know, who cares? When you know you're making something good and healthy and awesome for yourself. So, second batch, ready to go. Okay, I'm out here in the outdoor kitchen. I'm cleaning up after I just did the broth and stuff. So, I thought I would just talk. Why not? This is the large cloth that I used over that large bowl to drain the broth. I'm just going to hang it up out here to go ahead and dry. And I want you to know I'm in this outside kitchen and it's like 35 degrees out. It's cold. My second batch of broth is complete. And as promised, I want to show you how we're going to strain this out and reserve it so that, look at that, it looks funky, doesn't it? All dark, but I promise you this is going to make excellent broth. So the first thing I have is this right here. And I'm just going to come in here. I've got myself an empty big bowl. And I am just going to start. Now, I won't get every drop. Some will be in here, but I will get that later. I'm going to start just scooping out the chicken carcasses that have just completely fallen apart, along with all the vegetable scraps that I used in here. And this has been simmering for 2 days. And the other 2.5 gallons that I got is in the fridge. And that means that tomorrow I am going to be making, canning my broth. And I'll show you that process also. So this is kind of like a 5-day video. But this is all I'm doing is I'm just straining everything out. And I've just gotten all the yummy goodness out of everything that's in here. And this is not seasoned with salt, pepper, nothing. It's just the broth, and I'll season it as I use it. I like to do that because I never know what I'm going to be using this for. Am I going to be just, usually anything that calls for water, or if you're making soups, you can use it. If you're going to be doing rice and you need it, you all know chicken broth. You can just, you can even warm some of this up and just sip on it if you're not feeling good. It's kind of, I guess, bone broth is what you call it, because you're just roasting all the bones and everything. I always call it chicken broth, but I guess it's bone broth. But anyway, I'm going to continue getting everything out of here, and then I'm going to bring you back, and I'm going to show you how I then get all the little tidbits out of there. Okay, I'll be back in a minute. Okay, I've scooped out as much of the large debris as I can. Okay. And now I'm just going to set that aside. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this here, and it's got a mesh strainer on the top. You see that? You see? Yeah, you can see through there. Okay. And this. And I'm going to use this, and I'm going to scoop in here. Okay. And you can see that there's some floaties going on in here. I want to strain those out. Just the tiny tidbits that are going to get through that. And I'm going to strain it out through here. Look at the color of that broth. Isn't that beautiful? And I'm just going to lift and keep an eye on it. It's about to here. And I'm just going to continue doing that. And I'll show you what this strainer looks like here in a minute. Okay. So, see there? It's got a little bit of the debris. Okay. Now this will go through another straining before I actually can it. But just going to take it, and now I'm going to take this, and I have actually warmed up this jar because I don't want to put this really hot broth into a cold jar, because it will then might burst on me. Look at that. Isn't that a beautiful color? Okay. I guess I could just put this right here and do it. And I am just going to continue scooping this out. Now it's got a little bit of grease and everything in there. And when I refrigerate this, as with the other one, that'll settle on the top, and I'll pick that off. Now, some people like that in their broth and stuff. I don't. I really don't like that in my broth. So I let that set overnight, and it gets hard, and then I just pick that off. And so the next step is going to be, this is going to sit in the fridge overnight. Let me check that. Yeah, that's probably good. Then I'm just going to take the strained broth, and look at this beautiful color. Isn't that beautiful? Check that out. Yeah. And put that right into there. Okay. And I'm going to do that. It doesn't get it all, but it's, and we're just going to continue. I should get about 2 gallons. Now, the thing is, I only have 2 more gallon jugs left, so I'll probably have to put some in some quart jars to sit overnight, or maybe I'll just leave it sit in here when I'm done. But I'll bring you back when I've got it all done. But this is all you have to do is boil your carcasses or simmer your carcasses for a couple of days. Add in a bunch of vegetable parts and pieces that you've taken off when you're cooking. And that's it, guys. And then you make yourself some beautiful bone broth. This still has little tidbits in it, and that's why I will strain it again tomorrow. One more time. Now, I'm not going to put a lid on this right away. I'm going to let this just continue to cool off right there as I bring in my second gallon jug. Okay? So stay tuned because we're not done with this process yet. Hey, there's another way you can strain your broth, and that's with a fine, real fine mesh strainer over a bowl. Okay, so if I wanted to do it, say like this, or over a larger bowl, I just prefer this way, but you can certainly use something like this, and it works great. I just wanted to mention that to you in case you wanted to know. I was going to tell you too, the closer you get to the bottom of your bone broth, the more debris you're going to have because all that stuff settles in the bottom. Okay, so as an example, here, look. So you get a lot more of that, and I just smack it out of there, okay? But you're going to get more debris in the bottom and a lot of small pieces that are going to settle down in this broth, and that's why I want to strain it one more time. I'll strain it before I put it in my jars to can. Okay, well, I filled up my second jar, and I don't have any more glass jars because I've already used 5 1-gallon jars. So I'm just going to use this one here, little plastic pitcher I've got. It's fine. It's fine. And just finish. I'm going to run water through this because I'm getting down at the bottom there, and I got all them little tidbits. And so, what am I doing? There we go. Just had a little bit of yuck in the bottom of that I wanted to get out. Okay, here we go. I'm going to get it finished up. Okay, I'm getting down to the very bottom, and this little thing that I'm using here is quite big for that. So I'm going to switch over to this, and I've got my fine mesh strainer here. And I'm just going to hopefully just get that out of there. Yeah, that's doing a great job. You get a lot of yuckiness. Well, I hate to call it yuckiness because it ain't yucky. It's just all the little tidbits at the bottom. See, look. We want to get all that out, but that broth looks great. I hope I got enough room in this one for it, too. I'm almost done. Let's see if I can. I was hesitant to do this, but let's hope I don't make a mess, guys. Oh, there we go. Okay. I got to keep an eye on that jug. I'm full. I got to stop. I have about 1/4 a cup in there. That's fine. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to strain this again because we got a lot of little gookies in there. But that's no problem because that'll be for tomorrow. I'm going to pour some out. I lost a little bit there. There we go. Whew. I was nervous because I didn't want to lose anything. See if I can top this off. I strained it there, but let's see if I can top these off. Yep. Top that off. I could probably put just a little bit back in there. I'm trying to save every drop I can here, guys. I think that's going to be okay in there. Let's see. I just didn't want it to That's it. That's all we can do. And I got maybe between the two of them, 2/3 of a cup, and that's fine. So to review, I have this pitcher full of broth, which it's hard to see how beautiful it is in that. I can go ahead and put my lids on here. And I have two 1-gallon jars of broth here. I'm going to can to broth tomorrow. I'm not putting these lids on tight, just a little bit like that. And then I'll come out here when it starts warming up and grab these and take them, warming up outside, and take them on into the house and get them in the refrigerator. But I don't want to put them in ice cold. So hang on, we're not done yet. Hi, it's Rochelle, and I just got up from a nap, hence the hair. But it's Sunday, going on evening, and I've decided that now's the perfect time to can my chicken broth, or my chicken stock, or my bone broth. I got to get the terms right. But anyway, I have my Ball home preserving book, and according to DHEC in our state, anything made out of this approved book, you can put in a roadside stand, or it has to be made with a scientifically proven recipe. So anyway, I am making chicken stock, which we all know. So this is the next part of the video. So a few things that I've got is I have my quart jars in the dishwasher right now, just running them through a cycle. They were brand new jars, but still running them through the cycle. I have my lids here in hot water, my lids. And over here, I have my rings. Those are in hot water. I have my little magnet to take them out. I've got my funnel for pouring the broth correctly. Over here, I've got a few other things that I want to show you. Okay, and just hold on a second. Okay, here I've got my pressure canner. I'm getting ready to put a couple inches of water in the bottom. Here is my stock pot. In here, I'm going to be putting all my chicken stock that I've made in here and warming it up. I'm not going to boil it or anything. I'm just going to warm it up. Here, I've got this strainer bag, which I'm going to use inside each jar when I pour it in, and you'll see why. I'll go over that with you. The next thing I'm going to do is get into my refrigerator, and excuse its mess, but I'm going to start pulling out my stock here and get it into the stock pot and get prepared. Okay, the first thing I want to address is I've taken the lid off of this container. And do you recall that we spoke about when you let it cool, how that fat or the chicken grease will settle on the top? I want to show that to you. So you can see here how it's settled. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that off. Now, there's a lot of different ways you can do it, guys. I even have one of those funky, see? And I'm just going to scrape that off because I'm not a fan. Some people want this in their broth, and it's okay. It's just, and I'm going to have a little bit, that's for sure. But I just don't want this much in my broth. So I'm scooping it off here with a spoon. You see the difference? I know you can see the difference. But you just want to be real careful because I don't want to end up breaking it up and have it back down in my broth. But so and that's not a lot. I think I did pretty good with my straining and everything. Pretty fine that it got a lot of it out. Because there was. Do you strain yours out? Do you take yours out? How do you? Okay, I'm just going to toss that. Whoops, not on the floor. And then I'm going to come back around with a clean paper towel on the edge. I'm a little anal. Then I'm going to go ahead and scrape around the edges. Now, this is optional. You don't have to do this. That's pretty good, huh? What we're going to do, the next step we're going to do, guys, whoops. The next step we're going to do, I better tighten my phone up in there, is I'm going to take this now over here, and I'm going to pour it in my clean stock pot. Oh, you should smell that. That smells amazing. It smells really good. Go ahead and get some water in that. Now there's still like little sediment and stuff in the bottom, but I'm going to address that when I strain it for broth. Okay. Hey, okay. So I showed you how I scraped the broth and everything off of that first one and how we strained it. I think I showed you how I strained it. And then what I did is I left off by putting I have 4 gallons of chicken bone broth in my stock pot on the back. There, this one. Come on, I'll show you. Okay, 4 gallons. And what I'm doing is bringing this up to get warm. I've got my pressure cooker already heated up. I've already cleaned these up. And in the dishwasher, I have the jars that have been done and they're hot and ready to go. So as soon as that broth is to the temperature that I want, I'll start filling my jars and we'll start canning. Okay, a couple things before I go any further. I did not end up using the little mesh bag I showed you. What I did, and I thought I filmed it, and I didn't. So I keep saying I'm going to address that. Well, I'm going to address it now. What I did is in each gallon jug, I took the large round mesh strainer and I put it over the plastic jug and I poured the gallon of chicken bone broth in there and caught all the sediments out. And then I just put it in for the chickens. Then I took the broth and put it in the pan. So I thought I had showed that to you, but I didn't. You don't have to strain. I probably, as much as I did, I probably strained this broth at least 3 times. Trying to make sure I get the fat out and then any of the little seasoning sediments and stuff that sit on the bottom, I got that out. And so I'm going for as clean a broth as I can. Now I have done it before where I only strained it once, and that's fine too. But so it's really up to you how you want to do it. But I just wanted to address that quick because I didn't film it. Okay, we're ready to can stock. This is my stock pot, and I've got my broth warm. I have going to start with 8 jars because I believe that is what my canner holds, is 8 quarts. So I'm going to go ahead and get those up here straight from the dishwasher. Okay. Oh, that would be bad if I dropped a jar. 8. Okay, now what I'm going to do is take my funnel and put on here. Now I'm going to use this because this has a nice pointy end instead of a ladle. Okay, and I'm just going to dip in here. And fill up my jars to 1-inch headspace. Okay. And I'm going to fill all these jars up. I think I'll just start in the back. How's that? Look at that broth. Now, once I get these filled, I'm going to put them in my pressure canner. Then I'm going to bring that up to boiling again, and I'm going to let it run until it vents for 10 minutes. 10 minutes of steam. Once that steam, and I'll show you that. And once that steam starts coming in there, then my time starts. I want to get that up to 10 pounds of pressure. And then I want to be able to keep that at 10 pounds of pressure. I believe it's 25 minutes for quarts. And we'll pressure can this at 25 minutes on 10 pounds of pressure. Then when that's finished, we'll turn the heat off of the pressure canner and we'll let the dial go all the way back down to 0. And then I will still let it set for a couple of minutes before I open it. And then I will be ready for my next jars. Now, once I use this and get these filled up, I will be pulling out another 8 jars. Okay, so look at this broth. Isn't that just absolutely a beautiful color? Smells absolutely divine. Okay, 2 more to go, guys. Now you can ladle this if you're doing smaller batches. I did a really big batch this time because I had 5 days off work, so I knew that I would have enough time to roast all 4 of my chickens and debone them and make 2 batches of broth because I like my broth, my chicken broth, chicken bone broth, to simmer in the roaster for about 48 hours. So I knew this was the perfect time to do a large batch. Normally I can't do such a large batch. I normally will just do what we just did, 8 quarts. Now, the next thing you want to do is you want to take a clean paper towel or a cloth, okay? And here I've got some plain white vinegar, and I'm just going to dip that in there lightly. And I'm just going to go around my rims, making sure that I don't have anything that could have dropped on there that would interfere with my seal. Okay. So we're just going to wipe these off. There's really nothing on them, but it's just part of the process. Okay, set that aside. Now what I'm going to do is use my magnet because I want to be sticking my fingers in here, and I'm going to grab these lids. Okay. Hoping I just get one at a time. And I'm going to put lids on my jars here. Good thing everything here is clean, huh? Then what you're going to do after you get your lids on, you're going to put your rings on. And when you put your rings on, you just want your rings to be on fingertip tight. That looked like 2 ring lids, but it's only 1. Okay. And now this broth is really warm, but it's not burning hot. Okay. Then you're going to take your rings. You're going to put your rings on just fingertip tight. Okay. Just like that. And you're just going to put them all fingertip tight. This broth has such a deep, dark golden color, and that is because I used those onion paper peels on them that I showed you. That anytime I'm cutting vegetables or anything, I save all that in the freezer in a bag, and I use the paper skins from the onions in order to get this dark color. Now, you don't have to do that. I'm going to put this stock back on the stove. And I'm going to go ahead and turn that back on because I want that to stay nice and warm. I'm going to go ahead and pop this lid right off of here and just set it right there for a minute. I'm I'm going to go ahead and get that turned up. Now I'm going to take my jars and I'm going to go ahead and put them in my canner. Now this is kind of tricky because I got this hood here, but I can do it. Look at that. And ooh. Okay, I'll bring you back in just a minute. Okay, I was wrong. My pressure canner only holds seven quarts, but that's fine. Here is where you regulate your pounds of pressure. I'm on 0 right now. Here's where it will vent out the steam. So you'll see steam. And once this is up and boiling and it vents steam for 10 minutes, then I'll put my weight on. And it'll get up to your 10 pounds of pressure. That's what you want. But right now I'm going to lock it in, hopefully. Lock it closed, and the process begins. So this is what the book says. The book says you put the jars in the pressure canner, check. Adjust the water level, ours was fine. Lock the lid and bring to a boil over medium-high heat. Vent the steam for 10 minutes, just like I said. Continue heating until it gets to 10 pounds of pressure. When it gets to 10 pounds of pressure, then we're going to put this lid on, okay? And then we're going to keep it at 10 pounds of pressure for quarts. Hold on, I'm on the wrong page here. That's for vegetables, so I know that's the wrong amount of time. For 25 minutes. So what we're waiting for is for this to vent for 10 minutes, and then in the meantime, I'm going to pour the rest of I have 2 more gallons of stock here, and I'm going to go ahead and pour it in my stock pot and go ahead and get that warming up for the next round. Can you hear that? Now we have a little bit of steam coming out here, just a little bit, but we want a predominant steam coming out, a flow of steam. And I'll show you what that looks like. Now, if you look real close, you're gonna, I don't know if you can really, it's got little bubbles coming out, but every now and then it'll shoot out some steam, but that's not what we want. We want that steady flow of steam. Okay, can you see that steady stream of steam? 10 minutes, we're gonna do that. Okay, we've been venting solid for 10 minutes, so now we're gonna put our weight on. We're just gonna sit it on there. Now it's gonna keep the steam inside the pressure canner and then allow that to rise to 10. When this gets to 10, we'll set a timer for 25 minutes and then these will be done. We'll be ready for the next batch. Okay, we're at 10 pounds of pressure. We're gonna keep it here 25 minutes.